Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another podcast on prophetic events foretold in the book of Revelation about to take place. In the last couple of podcasts, we discussed the casting down of the censer in Revelation chapter 8 and the ensuing trumpet judgments and how they will impact the earth. Also discussed when Jesus opens the fourth seal on the book of life in Revelation chapter 6, and the four judgments of God listed in that seal as sword, famine, plague, wild beasts. And to recap, just before the censer is cast down in heaven's sanctuary, Jesus will tear open that fourth seal. And each seal is designed so that when Jesus opens it, it reveals more of his character to the world. The fourth seal is going to be the revelation that Jesus is sovereign over the nations of man. The world does not belong to man, even though they think it does. It does not. Do the nations of the world have any idea about what is about to happen to this earth? No, they have no clue. Right now, the world is sinking further and further down into total depravity. For years, we have been saying that we should do whatever we feel like doing. And the longer we go on, the more wicked we have become. Consider that back in the 1960s, it became quite popular and more acceptable to take part in sex outside of marriage. The mantra was, if it feels good, do it. Then people began living together without getting married. Then we welcomed and accepted homosexual relationships. And now we promote and encourage anyone who feels they were born the wrong sex. They have the right to change genders or just claim whatever gender they currently feel like. All of this and more, it's not just the sexual immorality, but this is quite a barometer of how we have slipped down a slippery slope further and further into degradation. And all of this represents rebellion against God and his design for man. On top of all of this, too, we have the pornographic industry. It's decimating the world and the church. You can't hardly turn on the internet without seeing some kind of soft porn. It's everywhere. The promotion of sexual images is everywhere today. God's law and the directions he gives man, they're not arbitrary. They're not because he doesn't want us to have fun. They're there because they're for our own best interest. Consider how many people are confused and suffering today as a result of the sexual revolution and the broken families that has taken place over the past 40, 50 years. Lack of commitment and true love for one another is not seen. And who are the ones most impacted? The children. They're hurt by the selfishness of adults who are only committed to fulfilling their own passionate desires. And the children pay the price for that. And then they grow up. If they grow up, suicide rates are higher than ever. But they grow up to do the same things because that's what they've seen. That's the behavior they've seen modeled. No self-control. Everything is self-indulgent. How hurtful is it for a child at the tender age of 2 to 4 years to be placed on hormone therapy and chemically castrated, which is what they're attempting to do more and more of. And in some cases, not even asking parents' permission to do these things. If a child feels like they're not the right sex that they want to be, they can go to the school and the school can start them on this hormone therapy. this chemical castration without their parents' permission. Is that incredible? Do we really think this is right? Yes, unfortunately, people do think this is the right way to go. It's insanity, really. Many of these children will commit suicide at an early age, as these things are irreversible. The evidence reveals this. Studies into transgender, of course, the mainstream media doesn't want that to be out there. With all of this going on in the world today, is it any wonder that Jesus must open the fourth seal and bring judgments on the earth? How else is he going to get the world's attention? He doesn't have another way. This is his plan. This is what's in the Bible. Is it any surprise that the world is in the dark and doesn't realize what Jesus is going to do? If they did, surely they would change their ways. Absolutely. Consider, if those outside of Noah's Ark, just before the rain began to fall, understood what was about to happen, they would certainly have gotten on the boat. Jesus made a statement that I think is interesting in Matthew chapter 24, verses 37 to 39. He says, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." What does it mean they knew nothing about what would happen? Had not Noah been preaching for 120 years up to this point? Yes. The problem was they had stopped hearing and believing, so that when the flood actually came, they were in total shock. I remember a popular song years ago by Simon and Garfunkel that says, "A man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest." And the chorus was a simple chorus. It was just lie, 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 lie. We like to believe lies because it can make us feel better about what's coming, or to deny or ignore it. And that's what the people before the flood did. In the days to come, the world will be in total shock when they feel the worldwide earthquake and see meteors impact our planet, causing untold damage and devastation. There will be no one to rush out and rescue when these events foretold in prophecy take place, because it will happen the world over. Everyone will be in the same boat. Yes, the world will react and try to appease God. And we're going to talk about that system of government that the world is going to create when these events happen in an upcoming podcast. But I want to leave you with this text in Romans 1, verse 18. It says, "The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness." Is truth being suppressed today? Surely it is. Our nation's leaders, the mainstream media, Hollywood, they're all working to suppress real truth. The search for truth, we need to all be on it and making sure that we're finding out, what does God require of us? Blessings, everyone. I'll talk to you again soon.